Next, we have the pleasure of welcoming Ms. Sudha Avataram, a passionate storyteller and an experienced public speaking coach. Today, she will be taking us to a short, engaging workshop on how to prepare for speeches. We are excited to learn from her expertise and practical tips that can make us more confident speakers. Welcome, Ms. Sudha.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Guys, hivers, can you guess what is the number one fear across the world, globally, not just in India, across the world?
Fear
Public
of death.
speaking.
Exactly. Fear of public speaking is the number one fear. Number two fear is fear of death. Can you imagine? I would rather die than speak in front of an audience. That is the very reason why we are doing this at Speakers Hive. I would like to share my screen and help you a little bit to overcome this fear. If you were starting to drive your car for the first time, you won't know where the clutch is, you won't know where the gear is. Sometimes instead of pressing the gear, you might press the brake, or instead of pressing the brake, you might press the accelerator. It is so confusing and so chaotic, so many things to remember. It's so confusing. I remember my first time I sat and held that wheel. But over a period of time, it just becomes muscle memory, right? So if we can have some tips, we can easily overcome this fear as well. So how do you become better, or how do you overcome this fear of speaking? First thing is by having a script. What is a script? Basically, it is whatever you have in your mind, you just put it down. But there should be some way to get out of this chaos, right? You need to know where the clutch is, where the gear is, where the accelerator is, when to put the brake. You need to understand that, right? So that is the reason we need to go to the bits and pieces of a script. But why do we need a script at all? If I were to go from here to Adayar, even though I know the route really well, I've been to this person's house so many times, I would still check Google Maps, because I'll then know whether it is going to take me 60 minutes or 75 minutes based on the current situation. So similarly, script is a roadmap. It guides the speaker what he wants to share with his audience, how best to go, whether he or she is on track, is the flow in the right direction, and am I going to finish the presentation or the speech within the allotted time? Well, time is very limited, right? We don't have unlimited time to give our speeches or presentations. So it is very essential to first write down whatever it is that I'm going to talk about in a piece of paper, or if you're comfortable, on a laptop. Put all your thoughts, and then we can come at giving them a shape and structure. But what do I talk about? I'm confused. I can talk about so many things that I'm interested in, but will my audience also be interested in listening to them? What is the common thing between me and my audience? Who are my audience basically? Are they 20 somethings, 30 somethings? Are they all people from a particular industry, or are they all having one common interest? Are they all music lovers, or are they all story lovers? Who are these people? Are they all management students, or are they all engineering students? Or as Saro would do, are they people who are willing to learn about 5G? IoT. What is it that they are here for? Who is my audience? I must first understand that. What matters to them is of utmost importance, and not what I'm interested in. If I keep talking about what I love, then I might go on blabbering, but they will not find any interest in it. And the very next moment, they will start taking their mobile phone and browsing whatever it is that they like doing. Why are they here? Well, there are 20 odd people in this meeting today. I shouldn't be wasting 15 minutes of their time by talking about what I want or what I like rather than what interests them. So always the first step to start scripting is to know who your audience is. What is the purpose for which they are there? Now, the purpose, I think, why I chose this topic as something that I wanted to share with you is it's 10th meeting of Speakers Hive, and about 20 of us have completed doing our first project. So the second project, what do I talk about now? Now that I'm done talking about who I am, where I come from, what should I talk about next? Right? So start with this as your yardstick. Now, how do I structure my speech? Follow the ABCs. A should be attention grabbing opening. How do I grab the attention? How did I do that today? By asking a question. What is the number one fear across the world? So immediately when we ask a question, the audience stops thinking whatever it is they were thinking, and then they want to crack that question. They want to answer that question or start with a story or a startling fact. Number one fear in the world is fear of public speaking, and not even fear of death. Do you know that? Can you believe that? When you say such kind of statements, you're already conversing with your audience. Once you grab their attention, then move on to the body. What should you cover in the body of your speech? 2 or maximum 3 points. Now, here, what I would like to share with you is usually our rate of speaking is 120 words per minute. Some people speak a little faster, some speak a little slowly. Based on your pace of speaking, so multiply that with the number of minutes that you've been allotted, then start crafting the speech for that much number of words. But keep the body to a maximum of 3 points that you want to cover and support each point with some example or anecdote or anything substantial for your audience to take home. Now, I've come to the conclusion of the speech. What should the speech conclude with? Remember, your audience remembers the first thing that you said and the last thing that you said. Just like you spent so much time thinking about the opening, think about the closing as well. The conclusion should have a strong message or a strong CTA, which is call to action. What do you want your audience to feel or to do after you've finished talking? What do you want them to take home? So the body can have 3 C's. What is the single main point that I want to convey? Here is something that I would like to share with you. One word that comes to our mind when I say these names: Simon Sinek. Why? Start with why. Angela Duckworth always talks about grit. Brené Brown talks about vulnerability. James Clear, atomic habits. Devdutt Patnaik, mythology. So they've all chosen one particular topic and they always talk about that. And every time they keep revealing some new insights and information. So have that single thing that I want to drive into the minds of my audience. Have crystal clear clarity. Be concise. Whatever you want to say, don't put it all out to your audience. Put it all out on your script. Then keep trimming until you get the perfect shape and structure. Most important, always remember what the call to action from your speech should be. What is it that I want them to take back today after listening to me for 5 minutes, 10 minutes? That you must have clear in your mind. All that is fine, Sudha, but what do I talk about? Well, for hivers, project to objectives. What is the objectives? Start from there. Or what is the purpose for this talk? If you're giving this speech outside hivers or at your office or in your college, what is the event? What is the occasion? What have they asked me to speak about? If it is Angela Duckworth, we would call her to talk about grit because she's a master in it. She's an expert in it. Why would someone call Sudha to talk about? Why would someone call Saro or Mitra or Ravichandran to talk about? What is it that he or she is expert in? Your purpose. I want to educate them. I want to inform them about something. I want to inspire them. So when your purpose is clear, your speech flow will also change accordingly. What are you good at? As I just said, what are these people good at? Similarly, introspect on what comes naturally to you, what you are good at. Or you could think about your current situation, your recent experiences, or a podcast you just listened, a video that you saw, a blog that you read, a book that you read, and you want to share about your lessons from them. Or it could be a topic that is very close to your heart. You could talk about that. Scripting, remember, my friends, is just like sculpting. Sculpting, the sculptor just takes a blob of a rock and sits with his chisel and hammer. He keeps chiseling until the final sculpture comes out of it. The final picture, the person who he's trying to sculpt comes out of it. So what he just does is he just keeps chiseling away all that is not needed. Similarly, write everything that comes to your mind and then organize them into ABCs, use the three C's, then put them in a structure. So put all of them as a bullet points, then organize it, then keep improvising it. How do you improvise? This comes with practice, takes time, takes effort, word plays, triads. Example of a triad, I would say, what do I like about India? The fabric, the fables, and the food. Fabric, of course, wow, the kind of wonderful saris that Ramya just talked about. Connect with the immediate speaker, previous speaker, right? So this comes with practice, wordplay and triads, and they all come with practice. Trim, trim, trim until you have 120 multiplied by the number of minutes you've been allotted, and keep it concise and crisp. Don't keep on blabbering, otherwise your audience will be lost in a second. So I wanted to share something very important with you. This is a speech from 15 years ago that Simon Sinek gave. I'm just going to play just the opening with you.
How do you explain when things don't go as we assume? Or
I'm pausing here. How do you explain when things don't go? He started with a question. He started with a question because that was the way he chose to connect with his audience. What I want you to do is from now on, watch as many speeches on YouTube, TED Talks, wherever possible, or listen to podcasts and just focus only on the opening. How did they open? Did they narrate a story? Did they ask a question? Did they give a startling fact? Then move on to the body. How did they smoothly transition to the body? Focus on each aspect, master it. Then, how did they close the speech? Don't start with a weak opening. I was asked to, how did I start today? I thanked the MC. Thank you, Sangeeta. And then I asked a question. What is the number one fear? Similarly, keep doing this again and again and again until you have mastered it, until you are clear that this is what is my final presentation or speech going to be. I'm at 13 minutes. I would like to pause now and I would like to know if you have any questions.
Sudha, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Where should people look for speech ideas for the topics?
Everywhere. As I mentioned, it could be from your personal life. It could be from a book that you recently read, a blog that you recently read, an incident. You probably were reading a magazine, Vigadan, some story popped up out of it. An issue that is happening, probably like the GST cut rates or the Trump issues. Oh, Trump, we love to talk about Trump, don't we? Right? But am I an expert in it? Can I talk unquestioningly? Can I talk meaningfully? It has to merge. What am I good at? What does the audience love to listen? And am I an expert in this? Do I know well enough? Have I done research in it? Probably I'm a GST tax consultant. I've been doing this for the last 15 years. Then I have the credibility and the knowledge. So Match what you are good at, what you love talking about. At the same time, will the people be interested in it? If I'm talking at this Hyver's talk, talking about GST tax may not be the right topic. Whereas if I'm talking with a bunch of entrepreneurs, a bunch of people who are really confused about the GST tax now that the rates are cut down, they may be really glued to my topic, to my speech. So look for topics everywhere, but don't talk about everything. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, 11L.
Ma'am, one thing I would like to ask you, how do you decide what is appropriate and what is inappropriate in a speech? Because that is there even in our guidelines for the first speech itself. It would be good if you elaborated that one point. Red
Fantastic.
card is up.
Yeah, that is for the speech. This is for the quick Q&A. I have 5 minutes. Okay. So what is appropriate and what is inappropriate? If I read aloud something and it made me uncomfortable, it made me cringe, then it is inappropriate, right? We have a general yardstick that we do not talk about sex, religion, and politics because these are topics that are very sensitive. Let us avoid something if I'm not sure. That is, I don't know whether the audience may encourage it, may enjoy it. I'm not sure, so let me avoid it. It is safe to stay out of it. What is appropriate based on the event that is being held? What is the purpose of that event? And why have I been invited to speak? What am I going to talk about? What is the audience going to be? So the first question, if I'm invited for an in this event, can you give me some more details about them? Predominantly men or women? Predominantly 20 somethings, 30 somethings, or predominantly doctors or people from this particular industry? Ask as many questions to the organizer of the event, get as much information that you can, and then start preparing for your presentation or speech. Have I answered your question? Any other questions? Before I end, I mean, I am available over just a message. You can ask me questions even after this session is over if you would like to talk to me one-on-one. But I would like to end this presentation because the word of the day is eloquence, and I have to use eloquence. If you want to talk eloquently, scripting is just the first step. How to present it is meat for another day or topic for another day. Today is Malaya Amavasya, no meat, okay? All right, back to you, MC Sangeeta. Over to you. I think I've completed just on time, and I don't want to eat into the best. I'm looking forward to the jam session.
Thank you so much, Sudha ma'am, for that insightful and engaging presentation. You did a fantastic job breaking down ABC and triple C's in a way that was both informative and easy to follow. I'm sure all of us have taken away valuable pointers on how to prepare and deliver speeches with confidence. We truly appreciate the time and effort you've spent with us today.